Hello noble ones, welcome back to my channel. This is the Metatron speaking, and of all the different types of online debate and debacles, if there is one that particularly annoys me, clearly a matter of personal bias, but it's the way some people use my faith, Christianity, to score political points. Tell me if you agree or not, but oftentimes this is done in a disingenuous way and without a thorough understanding of how the faith actually works and what Christians end up actually believing in. This is of course not to say that I don't think that anything should ever be challenged in the context of religion. Of course it should. You should be able to challenge anything I believe on, but at least document yourself onto what I actually believe. And when I say I mean as generic Christian, if you will. Things that we do have in common and are not sectarian or specific to any given branch of the Christian religion. What I'm talking about is this. So you will have seen posts like this, for instance, and there are several. I'll see if I can find another one, but Jesus is being crucified by the Romans, obviously AI created, by the way, and then the part of the meme, you've got the MAGA guy, and he says he should have complied with the law enforcement officer commands, is one version. He should have just obeyed the law, and it's the MAGA guy or Christian nationalist in America pointing the finger at Jesus as he's being crucified. And as I say, there are a lot of different versions of this, but it isn't the gacha that you think it is. And the simple reason the too long didn't read version of this is the following. Jesus did follow the law. And if anything, there are several verses that can back this one up. Check this out. Two of the most famous verses are John and Luke, but we're going to jump into interlinear just to make sure we have the most correct translation from Greek. So we find this on several verses. One is in John 19:4-6, and we read, Pilate, who was a real historical character, by the way, I have an entire dedicated video, went back out again and said to them, I present him to you, but I want you to know that I do not find him guilty of any crime, close quotes. And of course, King James Version, just to give you another version, Pilate therefore went forth again and saith unto them, Behold, I bring him forth to you, that ye may know that I find no fault in him. Then came Jesus forth, wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe. Likewise, we have Luke 23:4. Then Pilate announced to the chief priests and the crowd, I find no basis for a charge against this man. And we can read it on the King James Version, which is my version of the Bible, my favorite version of the Bible. Once again, Luke 23:4. Then said Pilate to the chief priests and to the people, I find no fault in this man. So, before we jump into interlinear Greek English, just to get the most accurate possible read, as you can see, different versions use different nomenclature, but the general idea is the same. Roman authorities, specifically the acting governor in the Roman province of Judea, does not find any fault, legally speaking, with Jesus or Yehoshua. And it is critical that he tells this to the chief priests as well as the crowd, because the crowd is the people, right? The subjects. But specifically the priests, the Jewish priests, were the ones that wanted him to be executed and all the rest. So the governor speaks to them, and he's specifically talking about Roman law. So Jesus did not break any Roman law at all. But even if we stopped here, then the moral of the story is that his is an unjust sentencing. And for details on the type of sentence that they had to fabricate, very likely it would have been fabricated and condemned as a charge of sedition. At least that's my opinion, reading the records. Fabricated once again. Now, given people, I know, will come into the comments and tell me, it's all a fairy tale anyways, you can't prove it, historically. But that's beyond the point of this discussion. It's a discussion I'm willing to have, and I've already had a few times. Putting together a massive compilation video of all the information that I have about the historicity of Jesus and the plausibility thereof, particularly looking at it from Roman sources and whatnot. But regardless, that's not the topic of the conversation, and that would be a shifting of the post. What we are talking about right now is this attack that some people use against us Christians because they are mad at Christian nationalists, and they tell us, well, Jesus was crucified and you guys would have pointed the finger and said he should have followed the law. It doesn't matter at this point if it's historically correct or not, this reading of the Gospels that we're doing. Even if it was fabricated, it wouldn't matter, because it would still be the basis of what Christians believe, what a Christian believes. And what a Christian believes is that Jesus was tried unjustly. Thus, he did not break the law. You know what? I've been drinking a lot of water. And I'm out of water now. This bottle is empty. You know what else I'm out of? Patience with you, because you don't subscribe. You keep watching Never subscribe. No, no. What do I need to do? I drank the water. I've got soda. I don't know at this point. I'm going to change the color like I've done millions of times. Boom. Okay? I'm going to go grab another bottle of water. Could you please subscribe in the meantime? In the meantime, could you subscribe? Thank you. Appreciate that. I really do. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Getting the water. Not only that, I brought you Space Marines. Are you out of your mind? And you're still not... Do whatever you want. Freedom, I guess. Excellent usage of your First Amendment. Appreciate that. Come on. Subscribe. Subscribe. Here's another example of that. Mark 12:17, we read, King James Version, and Jesus answering said unto them, render to Caesar. Sorry, I want to start with 16, actually, for context. When they had come, they said unto him, and these are like preachers and Jews that want to get him condemned by Roman authorities, so they want to trick him. And they say, Teacher, we know that you are true and care about no one, for you do not regard the person of men, but teach the way of God in truth. Is it lawful to pay taxes to Caesar or not? So this is a trick question, because what they want to achieve is that he will say either it's absolutely lawful to pay taxes to Caesar, and so they can try and take that one against him, be like, but he said God is more important, and so that his followers would be annoyed by it, or that he would say, no, God is more important, so do not pay taxes to Caesar, boom, sedition, rebellion, take him, have the Roman authorities. So it was clearly a trick question on verse 15. Shall we give or shall we not give? But he, knowing their hypocrisy, said unto them, why tempt ye me? Bring me a penny that I may see it. This is, of course, translated as penny. We're talking about Roman coinage. And they brought it. And he saith unto them, whose is this image and superinscription? And they said unto him, Caesar's. I like reading it in classical Latin. And Jesus answering said unto them, render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's. And they marveled at him. So the idea is, he's not saying to break the law, but at the same time, he's also saying God is, of course, the things that relate to God, we need to give back to God. So it's eloquent, very intelligent way to kind of give an answer that wins, regardless of how you want to look at it. But what we do read is, as you can see, they tried to get him to break the law under Roman control. And of course, we know that the Romans really cared about the taxes. That's why this is being presented. It's a fascinating thought, in fact. Once again, even if you're an atheist and a secularist and you don't believe any of this, but this is still written in a period that kind of functions as a window when it comes to the importance that the Romans put into taxes in those specific areas. And so in all areas that were under their control. And so taxes was one thing that you could use to try and get someone incarcerated. And he eloquently dodges it. But he also tells us, render to Caesar the things that are Caesar. The coinage, the money, it's all Roman, to give it back to him. That's the idea. So just for clarity, this is Luke 23:4 that we read a minute ago. And Pilate said to the chief priests and the crowds, not find I guilty in the man this. Okay, this is a literal translation from Greek. And if we want to be specific, by guilt, it's this word here. Fault, cause of death. Okay, and it's specifically talking about authorities. Likewise, jumping into interlinear, here we go, this is interlinear for John. And went forth again outside Pilate, and he says to them, behold, I bring to you him out, so that you may know that no guilt I find in him. And it's the exact same word. So gospel authors agreed on the same word. Charge, cause for charge, obviously legal reason. There you go. Nothing. Okay, so this is important to underline, because then again, you can have all the quarrels you want with Christian nationalists. I do agree that there are some that are really just using it as an excuse. We get it, but there are also people that do. But what's important to underline is that lying about it doesn't make you sound right. So let's keep this straight. No Christian would point the finger at Jesus telling him, oh, you should have obeyed the law, because we all know he did. The reality is, however, that likewise, this is usually a comeback that is used in what context? In the context of a lot of right-wing Christians, nationalists and whatnot, who want enforcement of borders. Enforcement of borders is the law, and respecting the law is in fact the most Christ-like thing that you can do, because God is a God of order. Given, does this mean that I'm happy if people are suffering and they try to come here? No, that's why I agree with helping refugees. Obviously, I do. Making sure that the system doesn't collapse, though, so there is that. But if anything, whenever I see someone who is suffering about it, they're coming here illegally, well, then I would tell them, don't come here illegally. Come here legally through the correct channels. So then, you know, if you have a reason to stay, whether it be, this works like that in every country, by the way, including the freaking Vatican, that has massive medieval walls to prevent people from just free flow of people. Free flow of people means chaos. Free flow of people means, yeah, you'll be helping some people that are genuinely nice people, that they come here and maybe whatever. Okay, great. But you will also let in criminals. And once the criminals enter, they will start attacking the weak, women, children. And once they do, now what are we going to talk about? Now are we going to talk about why you didn't protect women and children, innocents? So, yeah, you can be against illegal immigration and immigration in general because you're a racist, I guess. Although then again, this term doesn't mean anything anymore, if you ask me. But at the same time, you can also be against illegal immigration, which is my case specifically, because you want to protect the good people, the weak, women and children, and also because illegal immigration is not good for any given country, which is why every country on the planet has borders. Every country on the planet has an immigration process, but for some reasons the West is where we are expected to just, yeah, free flow of people, let everyone in. Whoever wants to come in and stay here, they can stay. That's not kindness, because it's not kindness to the people that will be affected by it, that are innocent and require protection. It's just how it is. All right. Anyways, just what I wanted to talk about, a brief video today. Thank you for watching. If you're enjoying this video so far, please take a moment to check out my Patreon page. With as little as a $5 support, you can help us ensure that we can continue to produce high quality and high researched content. And at the same time, you get access to polls, extra videos, unlisted streams, and much more. Thank you so much.